What is up, my loves? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nathallie Hughes. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so that's why my voice sounds that way. I am a luxury obsessed mindset empowerment coach. I teach women how to love themselves and how to trust themselves and how to boldly and confidently co-create their realities with the divine. So if you're into manifestation, if you are an ambitious woman, if you are just kind of a boss ass bitch who wants what they want when they want it because they want it, then you are in the perfect place. We focus on achieving our desires, manifesting our goals, but there is an emphasis on emotional fulfillment because that's what we want. Every single thing that we want in the world, we want because we believe that we are going to feel emotionally fulfilled. We believe that we're going to feel better in the having of it, receiving of it. So we might as well focus on emotional fulfillment as a means of getting to where we want to be. Okay, so in today's video, we are kind of solving two problems in one. Before we get into that, I am so excited because I have a free synchronization workshop coming up on December 3rd, 2022. The workshop happens at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's called the Opening Up to Love Workshop. You're going to come in. I'm going to help you release everything between you and your desired emotionally fulfilling relationship. Of course, you don't have to be a woman to participate. If you want to learn more about that, what exactly a synchronization workshop is, why you should 110% be there, go ahead and check out the link, which will be in the description of this video. For those of you that sign up, you will have access to the free recording of the event. And if you're watching this after December 3rd, then the event will be available for purchase, the recording. Okay, so got that out of the way. Really fun, good stuff. Gonna be amazing. So incredibly excited for it. So incredibly excited for those of you that have already signed up. We are going to have an amazing time. Okay. Now, let's get into what we're talking about today. This video is for the woman, the person, the human being who's in the relationship slash situationship with the guy person who isn't meeting their needs. Specifically, you're in that cycle, whether it's one person, multiple persons, multiple people, where you want to leave, but you keep feeling pulled back. Maybe it's a situation where you break up and then you're like, I'm done with him. And then you end up going back. You genuinely have the desire to get out of the relationship. And then you feel pulled back and you're back in that same cycle of I'm not being fulfilled. I'm not happy here. This also is going to be applicable. You're in that scenario. Let's say you're dating the guy. You're not compatible with the guy. The guy isn't meeting your needs. It's not working out. But instead of walking away, instead of going, oh, well, this isn't what I'm looking for. This person isn't meeting my needs. This person is showing me that they're not interested, that they don't have the capacity, they don't have the desire to meet my needs. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to look for another person. I'm going to open up to the next person. If you're in that cycle of, well, this person isn't meeting my needs, but I'm not automatically going and walking away, this is the video for you. Also, if the person isn't meeting your needs and you're having trouble communicating to them what you need, you don't feel safe to communicate your needs in relationship or in relationships, we're going to touch on that as well. The very first thing that I want to say is in your relationships, the person who, and this is really quick, just focusing specifically on, I'm afraid to communicate what I need. I'm afraid to express to him that I have emotional needs. Quick example, an example before I get into the explanation. Let's say that you're dealing with an anxiety in a relationship Maybe you are in the process of healing, moving through, releasing an abandonment wound. Maybe you've been ghosted in the past, neglected, ignored, right? You've dealt with people who haven't taken your feelings into consideration. When you're dating and you're connecting with a guy, connecting with a person, you communicating what you need to them looks like communicating, yeah, dealing with some anxieties. We wouldn't necessarily have to go in about like abandonment and all of those different things. That might be a conversation that you have later on. But I'm dealing with some anxieties. And what I need in a partner right now is somebody who talks to me at the beginning or the end of each day. That's an example. For me, okay, so I wasn't really using myself as an example, but it kind of fits, so we'll go with that. For me, what I noticed within myself when I was dating and experiencing anxiety was that if I was connecting with somebody and there is a routine, this person messages me every morning, they message me every night, they message me on their lunch break, whatever. Instead of being anxious and worried about when is this person going to message me, it would support me in regulating myself in those moments of anxiety if my partner's not available, to go, oh, well, I know that I'm going to hear from this person at 7:30. So it's 4 o'clock. They haven't responded to my message, but I know that I'm going to hear from them at 7:30. And I hear from him every single day. I hear from them every single day at 7:30. So that's the purpose of that. You're communicating to someone, okay, I deal with some anxiety. I need a partner who communicates consistently, some sort of routine, whatever. You probably should get a Virgo man, because he was always going to do that. That's just how he is. And that's something that you need in a relationship, but I'm joking. The point is that that's something that you communicate at the very beginning of a relationship. That's something that you communicate the first moment that you meet someone. Emotional intimacy begins at the beginning of a relationship. I already did a video on that. It's the one like right before this. I'll link it in the description if I remember. I probably will remember. I'll remember. I'll link it. No, let me put a note really quick. Okay, it'll be in the description. So you communicate that to that guy. Now, the woman who doesn't feel safe to communicate what she needs, she's not going to communicate that to him. That's what we're focusing on and what we're shifting in this video. Hold on. Fuck, I forgot my train of thought. She's not going to feel safe to communicate that to him. Quick shift regarding that. The man who wants to be in an emotionally fulfilling relationship wants to meet your emotional needs. And like, let's just take a second, because like, that is a fucking mind-blowing concept. The man who wants to be in the emotionally fulfilling relationship wants to meet your needs. The man who wants to be in the emotionally fulfilling relationship has the desire to meet your emotional needs, has the desire to take care of you. The man who has the desire to meet the emotional needs of a woman is not going to be attracted to the woman who does not communicate what she needs. The woman who shows up and goes, I have no needs, I'm okay. This could be the independent woman trope. I'm an independent woman and I don't need a man. This could be the, I'm just going to beat around the bush, pretend that I don't want anything. The super lackadaisical girl. Oh, I'm so low maintenance. Oh, I don't really need anything. Those women, the man that wants an emotionally fulfilling relationship, he's not going to be attracted to you. Do you recognize that you two are not a vibrational match? The man who wants the emotionally fulfilling relationship, the man who has a desire to provide containment for a woman, that means support a woman in feeling safe and secure, the man who wants to create an environment of safety and security for a woman The man who has the desire to the man who has the desire to fend for a woman, that man doesn't want to be in a relationship with a woman who doesn't have emotional needs. When you're showing up and you're not communicating what you need in a relationship, you're super duper independent, don't need a man, don't rely on anybody, you're super duper low maintenance, you don't have emotional needs. The men who are going to be attracted to you are the men who don't have the desire to fend for a woman emotionally. The men who are going to be attracted to you, the men who you are going to attract and entertain, are going to be the men that don't want to meet a woman's emotional needs, that don't want to take care of a woman. And this is very important because I've said the men that you're going to attract, and I really love that I specified there the men that you're going to entertain in relationships. Now, there was a woman, her name is Danielle, Stars, Moon, and Sun, is like her across social media. She's an astrologer. Years ago, she shared an excerpt from this book. I don't remember the excerpt from the book, so I'm quoting that it was an excerpt from a book that I saw on her Twitter. And it talked about, I think it was a book about relationships, attachment, something like that. And it talked about you're going to attract, essentially, you're going to attract all types of men. But the difference is in the type of man that you're going to entertain a relationship with. So the woman who wants an emotionally fulfilling relationship, the woman who is a vibrational match to an emotionally fulfilling relationship, the woman who has a high sense of self-esteem, the woman who has a high sense of self-confidence, she might attract a quote unquote narcissist. I'm going to use the term emotionally immature man. Not saying that both of those are synonymous terms, but essentially narcissism is just emotional immaturity. Like, okay. She might attract an emotionally immature man into her life, meaning an emotionally immature man might reach out to her, might ask her out on a date. She might say yes to going out on a date with that man. But the emotionally mature woman, the woman who is seeking out the emotionally fulfilling relationship, she's going to identify that this man is emotionally immature. She's going to identify that this man doesn't have the capacity to meet her needs. And that woman is going to walk away. There won't be a second date. There won't be another conversation. That woman is going to hold her boundaries, her sense of self, including how she desires and expects to be treated. So when we're having a conversation about attraction, I don't want you to think that if I was doing it right, I would never even have an awareness of men that were emotionally immature. If I was doing it right, then these certain types of people wouldn't be asking me out. They wouldn't think I was attractive. They wouldn't be in my sphere. That's not true. The difference is in who you are entertaining. The difference is in whether or not you are walking away from relationships and from men after they have shown you, after they have demonstrated with their actions, their words, whatever, that they do not have the desire or the capacity to meet your emotional needs, to give you, to support you in creating and experiencing and maintaining the emotionally fulfilling relationship that you desire. So boom, there's that. The guy who wants to have the emotionally fulfilling relationship wants to take care of you. Really great example. Okay. Oh, this is so good. I literally don't even have this planned, but this is like so powerful and I want to talk about this anyway. It emotionally fulfills you. It emotionally satisfies you when a man meets your emotional needs, right? When a man takes care of you, when a man supports you, when a man opens a door for you. I sat the other day and I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I understand what I get from this. I don't understand what he gets from this. And I was coming at it from that perspective of like, well, if I want this experience, then doesn't a man also want this experience? We don't have to get into the thought process. No, just skip that part. The point is that the emotional fulfillment is mutual. It emotionally fulfills me when a man holds open a door for me. Example. That man also experiences emotional fulfillment and satisfaction as a consequence of having held the door open for me. It emotionally fulfills me when a man takes how I feel and what I need into consideration and makes it a priority to text me at 7:30 p.m. every single day. It emotionally fulfills me. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel secure. It also emotionally fulfills and satisfies that man who has the desire to support a woman in feeling more safe and secure, loved, cherished, appreciated, whatever. So the emotional satisfaction and fulfillment is mutual. A really good example of this is like me and babies. I love taking care of babies. If a baby is crying, there is like a physical response in my body. It's not lactation, but I imagine it's a similar sensation. I'm just kidding. I'm being funny. But also, I do believe that it's comparable on an emotional level. It's like there's something physically in my body, being in a public space and hearing a baby crying, and like that baby's not being tended to by like its caregivers or something. I get really frustrated and agitated quickly because that energy and that desire to move gets activated in my body. And when energy is in your body and it's stored and it's not moving, it manifests as anger and frustration. I have Mars on my first house in astrology. We don't need to get into this. What's the point? The point is that when a baby is crying and when a baby needs support, I have the desire to support that baby. When I have successfully supported that baby in regulating their nervous system, when I have successfully, there are fewer things in life that feel better to me than supporting a baby from crying and freaking out to having the most deep, sound sleep of their life. That is an emotional fulfillment, satisfaction, and pride that I feel in that moment, having gone through that journey. I feel emotional fulfillment and satisfaction because I have the desire to be a caretaker and to support a child. That child feels emotional satisfaction and fulfillment because they have a need to regulate their little nervous system and come into a state of calm and maybe sleep if that's what's going on in that scenario. Are you understanding what I'm saying? We're not doing the same thing for each other. The baby isn't soothing me to sleep. The baby isn't regulating my nervous system. But the end goal, the emotional consequence of emotional fulfillment and satisfaction is mutual between myself and the baby. It's the same exact thing. And we're having a conversation about caretaking, and that's why the parallel is so beautiful. So we're going to get into why you don't feel safe to communicate your needs and all that good stuff. We're going to break that down in a moment. But I just really wanted to start this off so that we're all on the same page, recognizing the guy who wants the emotionally fulfilling relationship wants to meet my needs. I'm just opening up more and more to the idea and the concept. This is a very good affirmation. Write this down. Write this down. Just rewatch this whole video as many times as you possibly can. Rewatch this because this is some good shit. Write this affirmation down and use it. I'm opening up more and more to the idea that men might desire to support me emotionally. I'm opening up more and more to the idea that men might want to meet my getting over that cold, sorry. I'm opening up more and more to the idea that men might want to meet my emotional needs. I'm opening up more and more to the idea that there might be a man somewhere out there who would experience emotional fulfillment and satisfaction as a consequence of supporting me emotionally, as a consequence of caretaking me, as a consequence of taking responsibility for my emotional well-being. Just opening up more and more to that idea. Okay? Okay. I believe we're going to talk more about the opening up to the idea at the opening up to love workshop. So if you want more on that affirmation and breaking that down, get to that workshop. And if it's past December 3rd when you're watching this, go purchase that workshop. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I feel the energy already. It's good stuff. I pinky swear. Okay. So two problems. Having trouble asking for what I need from him when I've asked for what I needed, or have otherwise determined that he is not interested in meeting my needs, that he is not capable of giving me the emotional fulfillment that I desire. I don't feel safe and secure in this relationship, but I'm having trouble walking away. I try to walk away. I come back. I don't walk away at all. No, I do want to specify before we get into it. This is so good. You walk away from the relationship. You can stay open to the person. Oh, this is so good. Okay, so this is one of those little like nuance moments here. You meet the guy. The guy's handsome. The guy's cute. The guy's checking off boxes. This is nice. Ooh, the guy's not emotionally available. Sucks. I'm not open to this. The guy's not emotionally available. I'm not open to a relationship with him in this way. I'm not talking to that guy. I'm not dating that guy. I'm not hanging out with that guy. I'm not spending time with that guy. I'm communicating to that guy. This is what I want. This is what I desire. I want an emotionally fulfilling relationship. In the event that you decide that you want an emotionally fulfilling relationship, in the event that you decide that you're ready, willing, and eager to work with me, to do whatever needs to be done to create this emotionally fulfilling relationship, then I'm available, as long as I'm available. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not closing yourself off completely to the guy. You can remain open to the guy. But what you maybe don't want to do energetically is continue to date the guy, continue to hang out with the guy. Because that's not holding and maintaining the boundary. So quick little tangent. This is just good shit. This is just good shit. Like, this is really good shit, because I didn't plan on having like any of that conversation. We're not even into the thing yet. I'm going to watch this back and timestamp this. But anyway, so we have the guy. When we recognize that this guy is not giving us what we need, when we recognize that this is not the thing, you walk away from that guy. Oop, this isn't what I want. I'm going to go off and I'm going to be open to what I desire. If that looks like me being alone for a moment, whatever, I'm open to what I desire. However, when you continue to connect with the guy, when you continue to text with the guy, when you continue to call the guy, when you continue to go out with the guy, oh, we're just hanging out. Oh, we're just friends with benefits. You have to ask yourself the question, what am I communicating to the universe? What am I communicating that I am willing to tolerate and willing to experience? This gets super duper complex, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to go deeper into it. Okay, it's going to come down to what you ultimately desire and how important having the emotionally fulfilling relationship is to you. If you're going, right now, I'm just looking for companionship. I know that I want the emotionally fulfilling relationship at some point. I know that I want to be, which even if it was just companionship, it should be emotionally fulfilling. Getting your emotional needs met is the basics, but hey, if you're like, I know that I want to be the wife, if you only see yourself experiencing emotional fulfillment as a wife, that's fine. Live your best life. Okay, here's the thing. If you're not experiencing emotional fulfillment, that means you're not being emotionally satisfied. That means your emotions aren't being needed. So if you're not experiencing emotional fulfillment, you're experiencing emotional neglect. That's my problem there. Boom. So if you're going, I'm willing to experience emotional neglect for the time being, because I know that I want to be a wife someday. I know that I want to be a husband someday. I know that I want to have a spouse someday. I know that I want to be emotionally fulfilled someday. But today, I'm willing to experience emotional neglect. This is a beautiful segue into the conversation we're about to have. I'm willing to experience emotional neglect today, but I want to experience emotional fulfillment someday. Then stay in the relationship and continue to talk to the guy and continue to hang out with him and just have fun and be casual meaning emotionally neglected, emotionally dissatisfied. There's that. Yes. If that's what you want, then that's fine. But the woman who wants to be married now, the woman who wants to be in the emotionally fulfilled relationship now, the woman who wants to be in the emotionally fulfilled relationship right here and right now, ASAP as possible, as Michael Scott from The Office would say, that woman's not entertaining that, because that's a waste of time. Anything that's not emotionally fulfilling me, anything that's not satisfying me, is not in alignment with what I'm choosing to create. If it's not in alignment with what I'm choosing to create, I'm not taking it. If I have the desire, if what would fulfill me is a glass of water, I'm dying of dehydration, and you offer me vodka, I'm probably going to say no to the alcohol, because what would fulfill me, sustenance, would be water. You understand what I'm saying? So that's all I have to say about that. If you're the person who, they're not meeting my needs, I'm emotionally neglected right now, I want to be satisfied today, but I'm having trouble walking away when it's not in alignment, this is the video for you. Now let's get into it. So let's get further into it, to be honest. Whenever we're in a relationship, in a situation, it's not completely serving us. It's not exactly what we're wanting, but we're not walking away with ease. We're feeling pulled back. The reason why this is happening is because there's a need that this relationship, that this person is meeting. And you won't get that need met if you leave. You believe, you perceive that you won't get that need met anymore if you leave. So that's it. Highlight that portion. In this, I'm going to go further into one potential need that a majority of you that are going to be attracted to this video, this is the need that those relationships are meeting. Just want to do that little asterisk moment. It doesn't have to be this. It can be another need. So figuring out the need, that's going to come from inner child work. That's going to come from reflection. You want help with that. I have one-on-one spots available right now, open for coaching. That information is linked in the bio as well. So for majority of us, the need getting met by the guy that we're having trouble walking away from, whether it's one person, whether it's the cycle, the situationship cycle, you knew the moment that he walked in that he was trouble, Taylor Swift. Just kidding. You knew that he wasn't the one, but you stayed in the relationship for 4 months. You don't have 3 more 4-month relationships in you. You're not going to waste another year of your life to be a year older and still not be in the committed relationship. You want to be a wife now. You understand what I'm saying? So you're like, I can't keep being in this 4-month cycle of this person's not supporting me. This person's not getting me what I need. I need to have a higher turnover rate. I need to be able to walk away more quickly. The need that's being met by the guy is a need for attention and acceptance. That's what we're talking about in this video. Attention and acceptance. And for the purposes of this video, attention and acceptance are essentially the same, especially if your caregivers ignored you, and neglected you as a form of punishment. So there's a little bit of a catch-22 here. You are neglecting your emotional needs. You are neglecting your emotional needs when you choose to be in the relationship that is not emotionally fulfilling, when you choose to continue to entertain the relationship that is neglecting your emotional needs. You are neglecting your emotional needs. The woman who cares about how she feels, the woman who lives an emotionally fulfilling life, that woman doesn't neglect herself emotionally. You can't entertain an emotionally dissatisfying relationship without emotionally neglecting yourself. You're feeling me? So you are neglecting your emotional needs because that is what gets you attention. And I'm going to break this down. Neglecting your emotional needs gets you attention. In other words, you can only get your need for attention met when you are being emotionally neglected. Your parents neglected or rejected or pushed you away when you displayed your emotional needs in your childhood, right? In your childhood, you learned that it was bad and not okay for you to get love and connection when you had emotional needs. So you display emotional needs. They ignore you, they reject you, they neglect you, they hurt you, they make fun of you, whatever. When that happens, you learn it's bad and not okay for you to get love and connection when you have or display emotional needs, right? An example of this is if your parents ignored or punished you when you cried, but gave you lots of attention and praise when you did a funny dance they liked, or if you did a chore for them when they wanted your help. In these instances, you learned to push away and ignore your own needs so you can be whoever your parents are interested in, whoever they want you to be. The phrase that sums up this energy is, what can I do to get you to love me? You believe that whether or not you get love is dependent on your behavior and your actions. This is real hardcore conditional love. And it really, 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 really fucks you up because you learn that there are bad behaviors and there are good behaviors. If I do a bad behavior, I don't get love and connection. I'm really, really going to avoid any bad behavior because love and connection is a human need. It's a basic need. It's one of your strongest needs, stronger than your need for food, stronger. Okay. There was a study that was done. I don't remember the goddamn study. If you don't believe me, look it up, Google it yourself. There was a study that was done where they took a whole bunch of babies and they I'm sorry. No, that really gets me emotional. It was a study that was done, and they took a whole bunch of babies, and they put these babies in a room, and all they did was go in, and the only time they interacted with the babies was when it was to feed the babies. Other than that, they didn't give the babies any love, any attention, any connection, and they ended up stopping the study because the babies were dying. Okay. Let's take some deep breaths. Okay. Love and connection is a really big fucking need. Love and connection is like human basics. We need it to survive. So if in your childhood experience, you are learning that there are bad behaviors, there are things that you can do that will take love and connection away, you are going to avoid those behaviors like the fucking plague. This is a problem when what you register as a bad behavior, I mean, it's a problem in general, but when what you register as a bad behavior is having emotional needs. Like that's, you understanding what I'm saying? It's a maladaptive, people-pleasing coping mechanism that develops. I need to please other people. I need to make other people happy. I need to be whatever other people need me to be so that I can get my needs met. It's all bad, okay? Having emotional needs isn't the thing that gets you love and attention, so you stopped trying that thing. You stopped doing that thing. You neglect yourself to take care of yourself. You feeling me? You believe that self-harm is self-love. This is an inner child that is being triggered in these situations. That inner child needs to be integrated. If you don't know how to do inner child integration work, I have one-on-one coaching spots open. Information is in the description box down below to learn more about that. Okay. Why is needing attention so important? In your childhood, as children, someone focusing on you and giving you attention is important for the development of your self-esteem, your self-concept, and your self-worth. How you see yourself, who you believe yourself to be, how you believe the world works for you, all that good stuff, right? Self-worth, hold on, I skipped a part. Yes, when someone pays attention to you, that communicates to you that you belong, you are significant, you are important, and you matter. This is what self-worth is. Self-worth is when I know that I belong, I am significant, I am important, and I matter. Write that down, write that down, write that down. Rewatch that, rewind this, rewatch the whole thing 3 times at least a day. I'm just kidding. That frequently you should, but write that shit down, okay? Self-worth creates the expectation that your needs will be met. Because important people who belong and are significant get their needs met. If you neglected someone that was significant and important, that would be very bad. It would be frowned upon. It would be unacceptable. You know, a really good example of this is that your parents were teaching you in those moments that they were the, in this scenario, your perception of them, in order to help you understand this more, would be that they were the important, significant people. Neglecting you emotionally is okay because you're not important, you're not significant. But if you upset your parents, if you make your parents unhappy, that's very bad, that's unacceptable. So you're now relating to everyone else in the world. Because what's happening in those beginning stages of life, 0 to 7, 0 to 8, whatever, in those early developmental stages, your experiences in home, your experiences in the world is now setting the stage for what you expect, your subconscious mind, what you expect the rest of the world will be like. In particular, in your romantic relationships, that's typically where a lot of these wounds are going to be triggered, those parent wounds, because your subconscious definition of love is really being created during this time as well. So you're setting yourself up to have a relationship with all people where they are important. They are the important, significant person. It would be frowned upon. It would be unacceptable if you made them unhappy. So you sacrifice yourself. You sacrifice what you need. We're breaking down people pleasing. You sacrifice yourself. You sacrifice what you need in order to be safe, in order to appease them. If we wanted to do it from a nervous system perspective, we're having a conversation about the fawn response. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. People pleasing is a fawn response. Nervous system is activated. You do not feel safe. You do not feel secure in your childhood environment or with other people, okay? You want to learn how to regulate your nervous system. If you don't know how, I have one-on-one spots available for coaching. The link to learn more is in the description. Okay. If you don't have this self-worth, if you don't perceive yourself as someone who matters, who is important, who is significant, and who belongs, then you believe it is okay for you to be neglected. That's the consequence. That's the consequence of how you were treated. The natural consequence is low self-worth. If your needs for attention were not met, then you have low self-worth. This means you see yourself as unimportant, as insignificant, and as though you do not matter. And it's so important to have that specific breakdown Because it's one thing to be like, people with high self-worth, people with healthy self-worth see themselves as significant and important. But when we specifically say, I have low self-worth, and that means I see myself as insignificant and unimportant and like I do not matter, that just kind of hits a little bit differently. Okay, this is why the low self-worth, this is why when someone comes into your life, a man or romantic interest, and they are giving you attention, it is such a big deal. You now have someone that has come into your life and is communicating to you with their attention that you are important, significant, and that you matter. That's a really important need to get met. That's a really important need to get met. That's a need for love and connection. That's being met in that. That's fucking huge. That's incredibly significant. So walking away from these relationships is really, really hard when you're getting this really, really important need met in those interactions. And the lower your self-worth, the more unimportant, insignificant, and as though you do not matter that you feel, the harder time you're going to have walking away from these relationships, walking away from this guy. Because that need is incredibly strong, okay? And there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you wrong. It's a natural consequence of your lived experience. Anybody would feel this way. Anybody would have this problem. Anybody would be having this trouble. So there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing bad about you. You're not broken in any way. In fact, it makes sense. Everybody has this issue. Everybody has this problem. Everybody may not be open to healing it. Everybody may not be open to walking away from it. Some people might be okay with having that experience. Those of you watching this video, probably not. So, when they give you attention, you feel significant, important, like you belong, and like you matter. The reason this is a problem is because the only time you feel significant, important, and like you matter in relationships is when you are providing sex or lighthearted fun for them, when you are pleasing them. The only time you feel a sense of self-worth, the only time you feel significant, important, and like you matter is when you are providing a good time for someone else. That's a problem. This also can apply as if they need you to support them in some way. So this, an example of this would be, why do you keep staying with the guy who has to drive your car around while you're at work, can't keep a job, da 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 da. He needs you to support him. When he needs you to support him, when he needs you to help him, you feel significant, important, like you matter, and like you belong. You're understanding what I'm saying? You're feeling me? Okay. The problem is that you feel as if your needs make you insignificant and unimportant. You feel as if your emotional needs make you unworthy. Let's break this down. Going all the way back to when you display emotional needs, you're neglected, you're pushed away in your childhood experience. You displayed emotional needs, you were neglected, you were pushed away, you were rejected. That starts the story, like we've talked about, that having emotional needs is bad behavior. We can't do that. So you feel as though your emotional needs make you unworthy. Unworthy is when it's bad and not okay. For me to do something, be something, have something, it's bad and it's not okay for you to have emotional needs, for you to need emotional support. This is a problem if you want to be in a romantic relationship that meets your emotional needs. That's directly opposing. Resistance and manifestation law of attraction is when you have a desire and a belief that is opposing that desire. Abraham Hicks describes it so beautifully as there being trains with engines on either side. So let's say you have a desire, your desire is moving in this direction. Where the fuck is the engine on the train? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't know the mechanics of trains. Whatever. Let's say that your desire is going in this direction. So there's an engine on some portion of the fucking train that is propelling the train in this direction towards your desire. You're always being moved towards your desire. You're always moving in the direction of your desire. Your inner being is calling you towards your desire. Good stuff. When you have a belief that opposes your desire, you have another engine on the opposite end of the train, the opposite end to whatever the good end is. You have an engine on the opposite end of the train that's pulling you in the opposite direction. That's resistance. So now you have a train that's trying to go forward and simultaneously a train that's being pulled back in the opposite direction. That terrible bad feeling, that's the feeling of resistance. That's the feeling of unworthiness. That's the feeling of rejection. That's the feeling of powerlessness. You're understanding what I'm saying. If you don't understand this, I actually do have a digital course where I go more in depth into the emotional guidance system. It's called Ask You Feel Better Workshop. It's in my digital course. Just go check that out. That will be linked in the description box below. Okay. So you want to be in an emotionally fulfilling romantic relationship. Your train's going this way. But then you have the belief that having emotional needs is bad. You've got a fuck ton of engines going in the opposite direction. Your train's not moving towards the emotionally fulfilling relationship. That's a problem. Your train can be moving towards it. You got to get rid of all of these other engines, which is the limiting beliefs. You're understanding what I'm saying? You're feeling me? Okay. Now, you have trouble walking away from the relationship because if you walk away from the guy, you walk away from the person, your feelings of low self-worth will be triggered. Your feelings of low self-worth will be triggered. If you walk away from this person, you will feel, once again, insignificant, unimportant, like you do not matter, and like you don't belong. If you walk away from this relationship, your feelings of low self-worth will be triggered. If you communicate to them that you have needs and they don't want to meet those needs and they reject you, then you will be left alone and your low self-worth will be triggered. Got it? To break out of this cycle, we need to develop self-worth. In the ideal childhood, self-worth is developed in those early years. You grow up with a healthy sense of self-worth and are then a vibrational match to people and situations that affirm that story back to you. You are a vibrational match. You attract people, you attract teachers, you attract friends, you attract boyfriends, girlfriends, who the hell ever. You attract strangers, you attract people who reflect back. You attract opportunities to reaffirm this story. Because law of attraction, you're going to get what you focus on. You're going to get what you expect. So the person who develops a healthy self-worth in childhood is going to attract partners that make them feel significant, important, like they belong, and like they matter. Those instances will reaffirm their childhood experience, and their self-worth will continue to grow and strengthen and just become their overall expectation. This means the person, and I might repeat this later on, but it feels good to say this here, so I will. This means the person who has a healthy sense of self-worth, they're going to easily walk away from the relationships and the guys that aren't meeting their needs because that person knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're significant, they're important, they matter, and they belong. So somebody giving them attention, that's not a big deal. Somebody giving them attention is standard. They are people who always get attention. They are the type of person who always gets attention. If I'm the type of person who always gets attention, attention isn't going to be the determining factor for whether or not I stay in a relationship. Getting my emotional needs met is going to be the determining factor for whether or not I stay in a relationship. You understanding what I'm saying? So if you didn't get that experience, you didn't get the experience of developing that self-worth because you didn't get that attention and acceptance consistently. to support you in developing that healthy sense of self-worth. As a consequence of this, the people in your reality, the experiences that you would have and are having, are reflecting back the story that you are insignificant, unimportant, that you don't belong, and that you don't matter. That's the cycle you're in. So establishing your self-worth is not going to initially come from the partners you're currently a vibrational match to. The reason why you're a vibrational match to these partners. So, okay, we always want to follow our feelings. We always want to follow what feels good to us. There are times you have your inner being, your emotional guidance system. If you have inner children, the voice of your inner child can be confused with the voice of your intuition, the voice of your internal guidance system, your soul, your inner being. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust yourself. I'm saying that you should follow it. What I do is I follow it every single time. Because if I follow my inner child into a situation where that inner child is triggered, that's just an opportunity for integration. It's just an opportunity for healing. When I integrate my inner children, when I do this healing work, I then create more space and more room. I'm doing more emotional work to where I can tap in and listen to my emotional guidance system, listen to my inner being. Are you understanding me? So listening to your inner children is okay. Doing the thing where you follow the thing and you're triggered into an opportunity for healing is okay. Okay? Okay. I'm not really sure why I put that in there. I didn't write that in there, but I said that, so somebody needs to hear that. You're welcome. Okay, establishing your self-worth is not going to initially come from the partners you're currently a vibrational match to. The people in your reality are reflecting an old story. The people in your reality are reflecting the story from the past. Your current reality is a reflection of the vibration that you've been living in. So now we're doing, like Abraham Hicks, Law of Attraction would say, getting out ahead of it. We are changing and shifting our vibration as to experience something different in our physical reality. That's conscious co-creation. That's consciously co-creating your reality, right? Right. This means we're not going to wait for somebody to come into our life and make it all better. That's what you've been doing up until now. Essentially, up until now, you have been waiting for the partner to come into your life and to love you and fix you and make it all better. Because that inner child, that underdeveloped part of you, is still seeking out attention in order to develop self-worth. Your healing process is you developing that sense of self-worth, which will then be reflected back into your reality as you attract better people and romantic partners. You're getting better at choosing who you entertain, who you deal with. You're getting better at using your focus to deliberately call a better feeling man, a better feeling experience into your reality. If you want help developing your self-worth, come work with me one-on-one. You already know the links to that information is in the description. So in this video, I just helped you understand why you're stuck in the shitty cycle and why you're having trouble asking your partners to meet your needs. If you're ready to break completely free from this cycle, meaning you're ready to release and replace the rest of those limiting beliefs between you and the right guys that are keeping you in that feeling of being stuck away from your desire. You're ready to develop the emotional and relationship skills necessary to have a healthy relationship because you did not get those in your childhood. You did not get those watching your parents. You're not going to get those just because you have grown up and aged and time has moved on. These are skills that you need to consciously seek out to understand and develop. Excuse me. and you're ready to learn how to regulate your nervous system so that you can handle the transition into a completely new life experience, then check out the information in the description box below, because I have spots open for one-on-one clients now. I'm so excited to work with you guys. Last comments, that workshop, come to that workshop, because that workshop is going to be good shit. It's really, really good. The workshop is amazing. The workshop is great. You can register for the workshop. It's free for those who sign up for December 3rd and register. For those of you watching after the fact, you can purchase the recording. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I had to burp a little bit. I love you. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.